Tell you, one surefire way to get it to rain is to wash and wax anything. You wash and wax something, it will rain. It's like magic. Look at my glorious Husqvarna 2146 XLS. Yes, it is. That's right. Had to get a new battery for it. Oh my God, that was $70. I could not hardly believe that. Put an oil filter on it. Changed out the Earl. Not in that order. Then I washed it and I waxed it. Yeah, waxed my mower. Because I'm king of the hill. That's right. Had to put new spindles and new blades and some other new hardware on the deck because of my stupidity. But this thing's running pretty good, man. It's got about 70 hours on it. And it's got a twin, which I like. But I think the horsepower rating is total bullshit. There's no way this thing puts out 21 horsepower. No way at all. I'd say it's probably closer to 15. But it gets the job done. And I'll tell you something about new mowers, man. They do not make them as good as the old mowers. The old mowers, all the steel was more rigid. Everything was thicker, heavier. Everything was made to last longer. My neighbors have mowers that are 25 years old and that are still chugging away, still cutting the grass perfect. Beautiful mowers. They don't have shit falling off of them. They don't have plastic parts that break and fade and crack in the sun. And this new crap, all this stuff is going to turn to crap in the sun. I don't care what they make this plastic out of. You leave it out in the sun, it's going to turn to crap. Stuff like this don't make no sense. No drain hole. No drain hole. A little well for water and dirt to trap underneath a little plastic pad for your foot. So there's always going to be crust under there until it rusts through. Then you're done. Frame is very, very flexy. Crazy how flexible this frame is. When you start going over stuff, the whole frame just torques back and forth. The back of this thing, I had to have a warranty repair done on it. They had to put these angle plates in. These angle plates, which I think is one hell of a scabby repair. This metal is so thin. Look at how thin that metal is. See that? This is almost 3 times as thick. These little angle plates they put in are 3 times as thick. This metal just bent to shit. And the whole axle twisted around. And then the belt wouldn't run on it and whatnot. So, and that was just for me mowing. That isn't for me trying to, haul weight with it or something. Just me mowing. Bent the whole thing up where it wouldn't even work. So this is Husqvarna's warranty repair. They put 2 angle plates on either side and rebolt it and drill a couple holes and rebolt it. It's been okay since then, but I mean, my goodness, to use such thin metal on this is the most important part of the whole thing, the thing that holds the rear drive wheels, and it's so thin that it just folded up and bent from normal use. Here's another shitty thing, okay? These leak. If I top this thing fully off with gas, this leaks gas, which means also that rainwater catches in here and seeps in through. So I always, always, always get water in my gas when it rains because the mower stays outside. So that's pretty crappy. That's pretty shitty. Another thing that was stupid was to put little rubber guards over the ends of these things and not glue them on. They just slip on. Well, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to catch on stuff, and then you're going to mow them, and then you're done. I'm not going to pay $27 for a little piece of rubber that's going to fall off again. These needed to be glued on, or they needed to have little end caps or something. Little rubber things just fell right off. Mower deck seems pretty sturdy. I'm pretty happy with it. It seems pretty sturdy, pretty well designed, pretty easy to get it level and get it where you want. It's got the middle wheel so that if you hit something weird in the middle, it'll push it up so you don't chowder things quite as bad. Okay, so that deck was okay. The steering on this thing has always been bad. From brand new, when I got this thing, the front wheels pointed out. You can kind of see it here. Okay, here's this wheel. You can see this wheel's kind of going this way. And then you come over here, and you'll see this wheel is going this way. Okay, it's because, once again, they make it out of the cheapest, crappiest, bendiest metal you can find. These spindles, this is ridiculous. You can bend this with pliers. I mean, so you hit a root, you hook a wheel on something, and it pulls the wheel real hard, it bends this piece, now you're out of alignment. So when you want to take turns, it just, the front end scoots, because one wheel's pointed out, dragging it. And the inside wheel isn't doing that much. It's the outside wheel that needs to really turn it. It's the outside wheel that needs to turn it. So if the outside wheel is pointed at a wide angle, it's not going to turn. So I thought that was really unacceptable, to make spindles that are so flimsy, you know? And you can see here, this inside wheel is turned much, much more than this outside wheel. And that's not going to help the mower turn. This is going to help the mower turn. So that's a problem. Right? I had to put weights on the back because it literally had no traction. It just, it would just slide down any kind of hill. If I tried to go down a hill, it would just slide sideways. And this is a diff locking transmission on the back. It locks up both wheels when they start to spin. So that works okay. Steering is for crap. The metal is too light and bendy all over the whole thing. I bought this because it had a metal instead of plastic hood, and this metal hood is such a joke. It is such a joke. These little tabs keep coming out every time the thing flexes one way as you go over a bump, and then they just keep, this just wants to fall out. It's pretty ridiculous, I'll be honest with you. This is like the lightest, flimsiest piece of metal ever, and it's just all scabbed together with all this plastic and crap. There's not even that much metal to it. So, thinking I'd get a better mower with a metal hood and, you know, diff locking transmission and a twin cylinder. It's supposed to be 21 horsepower. Sure don't feel like 21 horsepower. And I mean, it's a nice enough mower. Cost me $3 grand, and pretty sad that it would not be up to snuff. But you come over here, this old John Deere, which is from the 80s. I think it's like an 88. We bought this when we first got here, and I just didn't like how it cut. It didn't cut nice. The deck was kind of weird, but the actual chassis of this thing is bulletproof. This thing just sits out just like this. The hood's broken. The thing just sits out here in the weather like this. Fires up every single time. Right now the battery's dead, so it's not going to fire up right now. But even just laying, just like it is, covered in spider webs, I could come over here and fire it right up, and it would start, and it would run. And this thing will pull my big old ass anywhere I want up and down the hill. So I use this for my trash hauler and stuff. Awesome chassis on this. Instead of those metal rails, they use this formed steel, and this steel is really pretty darn stiff and thick. It's really rigid. The spindles on this thing are brutal. Okay, look at how thick the steel is on that spindle. It's twice the thickness, almost. Maybe 1.5 times the thickness of the Husqvarna. And it's a smaller tractor. And it's simpler. They have a simpler design. They don't have any complicated tie rod thingies that have to do all kinds of weird pivoting, you know? And so you have these little ball joints that get play and wear out. They don't have that. Yeah, very simple. Thing tracks perfectly, turns on a dime. Got plenty of hauling power, even though it's not a diff locking transmission and one of the wheels will spin. It still hauls tons of crap around. So, hard to believe, but I would say that this is actually a better mower than that. And this is supposed to be 12.5 horsepower. But I'll tell you what, this is very close to the horsepower of the Varna. The Varna has supposedly 21 horses at its disposal. You would not know it. Even with the blade not running, you know, just riding it around. Does not feel like 21 horsepower going up hills and stuff. It's working hard going up hills. And when you turn on the blade, every time you turn on the blade, the whole engine. And when I would turn on the blade for the John Deere, it would just turn on. Didn't even make the engine dip, hardly. So, things don't always get better with age. Or in years, whatever. The old stuff's better in a lot of ways. But it gets the job done. And at least I don't have to worry too much about mowing today, because it's been raining the whole time I've been filming here. Time to cover up the bike. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.